What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? This is your girl, Patrina Dixon. That is my money lady. For those of you that have been rocking with me, thank you. I got another episode that you're going to completely enjoy. For those of you that are new to the show, my name is Patrina Dixon, and I am your girl for all things finances, from personal and business. I can help you get that money right, have that solid foundation, and then if you want to go into entrepreneurship and you need capital for your business, so getting that money that's debt free, that's called grants. I'm your girl for that as well. So with me today, in person, in studio, I have someone that I met most recently. And when we met, we kicked it off like right at the first meeting. In my meeting with him was sponsoring an event that he hosts every year called the Holloman Challenge. And that is for young athletes, basketball athletes that come out and compete for a prize that they get at the end. I'm going to have him talk about it a little bit more. But when he told me about this event and how he, what I want to call, did some old school getting the money from various different companies, I'm like, we got to come out and tell the people. The reason why I want to have this show is I want to ensure that people understand there's many ways that you can get money for things you want to do. And then Will is going to talk about the things that he's done and shared with me. And I wanted to make sure that we brought it to you as well. So before we get into those steps, let's hear a little bit about my guest. Will, tell them who you are and what you do.
My name is William Holloman, from Jacksonville, Florida. I used to play basketball. I still boast as the second all-time leading scorer in the history of Jacksonville, Florida. Was able to play college basketball. Was able to play in some other countries also. Was able to play in China, Mexico, CBA, Bahamian League, some other things. But injuries derailed that and old age. So I just wanted to develop platforms where young, aspiring athletes can make money without having to go to another country and endure some of the things I endured. So just create more opportunities here in America. And the flagship for that is the Holloman Challenge here in Jacksonville, Florida. It's a $5,000 one-on-one tournament that we do once a year for guys. We also do ladies' night once a year, which is 2-on-2 for $2,500. That's coming up.
No, he didn't. Ladies, y'all ready for that? When is that one?
It's coming up in October.
Okay, now.
Again in October.
Okay, okay, we're going to talk about that in a moment. So Will is being very modest here. So, yes, he does a Holloman Challenge. And again, the topic of this show is how he got money to make that happen, because I want you to understand there are varying ways. If you're looking to host something for something you believe in, some challenge you have going on, some cause that you have going on, he's going to talk a little bit more about that. But he talked about the various different ways where he's played, and that he holds the record and all that in Jacksonville. But talk a little bit about what you're doing for those that are coming behind you. Every summer, during the school year, on Saturdays, what are you doing right now helping those that have the aspiration to maybe even participate in the challenge one day when they get of a certain age? What are you doing regularly to help those folks?
Well, we encompass every age group. I have a developmental league which starts at 4 years old. So every Sunday we have 4 to 6-year-olds every Sunday at 12 o'clock. And we also have a developmental league for 7 to 10-year-olds. We have a league for a developmental program for 11 to 12-year-olds, and we have a 13 to 17-year-old developmental league. So, and then I have the Holloman Challenge for adults. I also have 2 leagues. I have a fall league named after my late sister, the Jackie Classic. It's coming up in September, which is the most elite fall league probably in the state of Florida. We have multiple players ranked in the state every fall here in Jacksonville, Florida. It's doing very well. And I also have CDL, which is Champions Development League, with my partner, Antonio Pullins, which is in January for kids who get cut from their high school team or their middle school team. If you don't make it, you can come play with us. So any age, any situation, whether you're elite, whether you got cut, whether you're 4 years old, whether you're 15, whether you're 7, whether you're a girl or a boy, an adult, I got something for you.
Yeah, so I love that because it's, it holds the record that he holds, but he's also helping others and some, a lot, he works with a lot of the elite players, but other players that may need what I love, because I do, all know I do foundational stuff as it pertains to finances, and he does the development to help people get where they need to be to become those elite players. So now let's jump into what the topic is really about. So Will, when you and I met, you talked about, I had a fundraising strategy. Like you talked about, how you went from one end of Jacksonville to the other and what you developed and how you went about that process. So first talk to us about how you mapped out who you were even going to ask for money to support the Holloman Challenge.
Yeah. Well, I looked at it like, the city is zoned, so, you got the beaches and then you got the south side, Riverside, North Side, West Side. So I basically mapped out, the different businesses in each zone. So I wanted to focus on a zone until I feel like I covered it. Mm-hmm. So, and it when you do it that way, because some people know Jacksonville is the biggest land area city in the United States of America. Yeah. So this is a huge city.
Yes.
But if you zone it, it's not as intimidating.
I love it. I love it. And what you mean by zone? Tell it, because somebody's listening. They're gonna want to get money, for their project. They want to follow what I want to call the Will Holloman strategy. So look. You better own that before somebody grabs it. But right. Look, so when you say zone, I'm gonna break it down the way I think you're saying. You broke the city up in those zones, right. And then you focused on each of them,
right.
So that you get all of it, but you did it at each zone at a time. Right.
So now I'm not going to lie. I did spend a lot of money on marketing because I wanted to have something impressive. And my brochures by Dolly Studios, I'm going to show you when we leave, are extremely impressive. Like if I showed you the brochure, you'd be like, oh, okay, like you're somebody. Yeah. So I did spend a lot of money on that. I will say that. But but basically what I wanted to do was just have a strategy, not necessarily just say, okay, I'm going to try to go to a lot of businesses today. No, let's map out who's at Jack's Beach. Okay, he's at Jack's Beach, he's at Jack's Beach, this business. You try to map out about 50 businesses. And, some people will tell you, hey, there's no soliciting. Some people will tell you, tell you to leave or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do.
And let me back up. So he said he spent money on marketing, but I was my mom would say this, so when she hears this, she'll know I still remember that it takes money to make money. Yes. So because he spent money on marketing, it doesn't mean he shouldn't have. He wanted to ensure that people knew he was serious about what he was asking. One, the cause, and he's going to talk a little bit more about that. About it does two things. There's a monetary prize for the person who's last basketball person standing, but there's also a cause that he has embedded into the program as well that he'll talk about in a little while. So it was like, I want to ensure that the people that are putting their dollars to this program, they understand what this challenge is really doing. So it's doing one thing for the youth, but it's also doing something for the other people that was integrated into it that he'll talk about in a little while. So when he says zone and he says like 50 businesses within, and he says sometimes you can't solicit, the reason why he's saying that is he didn't email them. He didn't DM them, right? He went into these businesses. So talk a little bit about that. So you've now zoned. So if you're writing down notes, he's zoned. He's taken the largest land city in United States and zoned it out. And he said, I'm going each zone by zone so it makes it a little bit more palatable for me. It's because before it was overwhelming. Now he's on first zone, 50 businesses. And then he went door by door, not door by door, but the doors you wanted to touch, right? No, and you got some doors slammed, right?
100%.
But did it stop you?
Not at all.
And not everybody's going to be ready, y'all. So not everybody's going to, one, be ready, second, have the money, or two, it's not a cause they're interested in. But that didn't stop you. So tell us about what it took for you to say, okay, because you could have said, you know what, maybe I thought this was the right thing. I'm not going to keep doing this because I don't want these doors slammed. What keeps you going and going to the next door?
You have to have confidence in what you're trying to do. You have to have a belief behind, what you're trying to accomplish, and you have to have faith in what you're doing also. Yes. Because you're going to hear way more no's than yeses. Like, I keep track of all this stuff. So just this last year alone, I was in contact somehow, some way with 317 businesses. I ended up with 29 sponsors. So if you do the math, which I can't, that's a very low percentage, you know, out of 317 businesses end up with like 29 sponsors. That's a very low percentage, but that's more than enough to put on a challenge. So it works out. But the word no, you just can't let that hurt you. You can't let that deter you, because you're going to hear it a lot.
Yeah. But
it makes those yeses that much more valuable. Like, it's a party every time somebody says, yeah, I'll sponsor. You know what I'm saying? But
and that sponsor level was at many different rates, right? Because the other thing, people, like he mentioned, 317 ended up with 29. But if you get 29 that's giving you the right number, and even the ones that weren't as great as whoever the top or premier sponsor is, to his point, everybody that said yes believed in what he had going on and wanted to be a part of it. Right. And those 29 made what I saw, because I was physically at the challenge, happen. And it was amazing to see the young people, those that were watching, those that were competing, to be a part of it, because they could have been anywhere else, but they all wanted to be a part of the challenge. And then at the end, y'all, we were standing there trying to see who was going to win that $5,000. Right. But anyway, now go back. So you ended up with 29. So some may say, like, I'm not doing all that work for 29, but tell them what that 29 resulted in. Like, what did that get for you? You don't have to say, if you want, you can say the dollar amount, but it resulted in you having a challenge. It resulted in, you had a thing for all the sponsors with their name in it. Like, it helped do what you needed to have happen for Saturday.
100%. It's, you got to have a goal. Mm-hmm. You're just not out there just blind, just, doing whatever. Like I said, I think it's important first to determine your goal. What are you trying to accomplish? And then you knock down that goal. But like you were alluding to, it's very important to have levels, because my first year, I was blessed with an opportunity to talk to the regional marketing director for T-Mobile. And my highest level of sponsorship was $500. And a pretty high-ranking person that I got to know, I'm not going to put him out there, but because maybe he wasn't supposed to, he gave me this guy's phone number, right? So he was like, well, hey, call him. Like, this is the guy you need to talk to make this happen. So I got this guy on the phone. I didn't know who he was or anything like that. I just knew his title. And this is exactly what he told me. He was like, young man, let me tell you something. I don't know how you got my direct phone number, but you know somebody important to have gotten my direct cell phone number, because I don't give people my number.
So hold on. Remember I told y'all, network contribute to your net worth. So it's good to know some people, but go ahead.
Yeah. So he was like, I don't know how you got, my number, but you know somebody substantial. And then I name dropped, like, oh, well, I got your number. He was like, it doesn't matter. He said, but let me tell you something. When you get somebody like me on the phone, you don't ask for $500. And I was like, okay, well, what can you give me? He was like, business doesn't work that way. You've already emailed me, sent me your, your sponsorship packet, and the most I can give you is $500. He was like, people like me, he was like, we cut checks for $50,000 to marketing. You're selling. And at that moment, I threw away my sponsorship packet, and I made it where they had levels where it can go up to $10,000 because, and I'm be transparent. No one's ever given me $10,000. Maybe nobody would. I don't know, but that just
they'll say yet. They haven't yet.
Right. Yeah.
They haven't yet. Yes.
But, that conversation with him just showed me that you don't want to sell yourself short.
Yes.
Because he was like, there's no question with who that after I name drop the person, that I'm going to give you what you asked for every year. But he was like, you shouldn't, sell yourself, limit yourself so much. So that's
Absolutely.
Why, I can take $250 minimum and I can take $10,000 max. So it's, all that's on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. What I love most about what you just shared is that person that you got on the phone could have said, I can easily write you a check of $500 and go about his day and keep going. But he made sure that he shared with you, if you're going to come you need to come correct and come what you really need. What, come with that and have levels to demonstrate that what you're doing, the amount that's needed to make it happen, and then let the person, whoever the potential sponsor is, determine what level they're going to come in at. Right. So even if you have a 10 or 20,000, whatever level that you have, and you have lower ones, let them come in lower, but you have the option for them to give it something greater. I love that he used that moment in that time to help you with your next marketing package. So I love that about whoever that person is. I love that about him.
And it's somebody who still shoots me an email every now and again, like, I'm watching. I love what you're doing. I see the progress. I see the growth. And you never know. I'll give another example. There's this lady who sells desserts, like little treats, right? So she hit me up, like, I want to be a sponsor. So I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to go get this $250. And I'm going to be very transparent with everybody. She ended up giving me $2,500.
See there? And
what I did not know was that unfortunately, her husband passed away in an accident a long time ago. This was an older lady. Okay. But, her husband had passed away a long time ago and was awarded like a multi-million-dollar settlement.
Oh, wow.
So I'm looking at it like, this lady selling little brownies and banana pudding cups. She ain't really got it like that. You know what I'm saying? But you can't judge a book by its cover.
You cannot judge a book
because
by
that lady
its cover.
ended up telling me, like, even when she told me what she wanted to give me, I thought she in the text, I thought she accidentally added a zero. Because I was like, I'm pretty sure you meant $250. She was like, no.
Oh, see there?
So you never know who has it like that.
In the cause, you never know what people. Y'all know my brand is "It's My Money," y'all, right? So you don't know where they want to give their money, and what you're doing is something that people want to support, right? So I love that. I love all of that. And I remember another story you told me, and that was. You went into a company, so I call it old school marketing. You just walked into that business and you wanted to talk to whomever the person was. And you're like, no, I just want to know, how do I get to this person to give them the packet? And it was that, I want to call that diligence that got you to that person. I don't know if that translated into them giving anything, but it's about not just taking a no. It's about, like you said, knowing the department or the title or whom it is, what area you need to get in. Maybe it's just, and I've done this myself, what time did they go to lunch? You're asking their assistant. You need to know assistants, y'all, and being in the elevator at the same time. Whatever those things are, don't be above those things when you're trying to get money for what it is you're trying to accomplish. So you zoned out the areas. You knocked on the doors. Of 317, you got 29. But 29, tell them what that did, because it could have been 2. It could have been 0. So 29, although in your mind maybe a small percentage based on the 317, but like Mark Cuban of one said, you just need that one yes that can turn into funding your whole thing, right? So what did the 29? The 29, you got the 29. Did that hit your goal? Was it below your goal? What do you then do? Because people are now listening. Create a packet, put money into the marketing. Zone out, even if your city is not as large as Jacksonville. Who do you want to target? Who are those businesses aligned to what you're putting on? And then going out there, hitting the streets. So now you got the money in. What take us through what you do when you get the money in? How do you stay connected to those people? Like, how does that process work?
You just want to, my grandma told me you want to look the part. My first year, I'm a basketball guy through and through. So even initially, like, I wore a lot of shorts and T-shirts and stuff like that. Basketball sneakers, Jordans. I got on Jordans right now. But, my grandma told me something. She was like, people don't like helping people who look like they need help. So you need to start.
All right, now go ahead, Grandma.
You need to start looking the part, because when you go in places looking, because she told me a story about, something about a food bank that her friend used to go to in St. Pete. And, like, she used to dress up to go to the food bank, you know what I'm saying, to kind of not look like she needed help. And they used to help her first. So she told me the same thing, like, don't look like you begging. You know what I'm saying? So, I make sure I have on a suit. I started wearing suits just because of the Holloman Challenge, to meetings, to dress the part. To look like I'm not hustling. I'm not begging, you know, because let's be real. Like, if you're sitting across from somebody who's sharp, distinguished, they're well kept, they have on a nice suit, nice shoes, nice watch, like, you're not going to think anything shady is going on. And I mean, you may, but there's a better chance that that person who's well kept, well groomed, that looks professional, is probably doing something professional.
And you want to add fire? People want to add gasoline or fire. Wait, what does it add? Gasoline to that?
Fire.
To the fire. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there's another saying that matches what your grandma said, and that is, dress for the job you want, not the job you have, kind of thing. So I taught when I mentor young people, I say that as well. So now you dress the part, and you get that money. That money is now coming in. It's rolling in. People make commitments. And then how does that, one, did you reach your goal with the 29?
100%. We always going to reach our goal.
Okay, you reached the goal. Now, from what I heard from you, you try to stay connected to the 29. So it's not just about they sponsored the challenge that day. What then happens? What do you do with them, for them, on their behalf after the challenge?
Well, that's why I asked for everybody's website. I asked for everybody's information. Like, even you. Like, I've studied you. Yeah. And you don't know it, but I've studied you. So,
he studied me, y'all. I'm Googleable. That's what I always tell people.
I studied this lady next to me, and it's stuff about her business that she probably doesn't think I know that I know. But that's not just her. That's all the sponsors. So this is very important. All my sponsors return because I work for them all year. So I know her angle of business, what she's trying to accomplish. So I'm going to continue to put her in situations that can benefit her business from now until March. So then March rolls around, and I'm like, hey, Holloman Challenge rolling up. There's going to be no question in her mind that she's going to cut me another check, because I will have done so much for her business, because sometimes it doesn't cost to help people. Like, sometimes it doesn't cost to connect people, keep them connected. Like, it's not going to cost me nothing to put you in front of 200 people a weekend and do what you do.
Thank you, Lord.
With your business, because I got camps, I got clinics, right now, we missed this one, but I got 67 kids in my Sunday clinic that ends this Sunday. You know what I'm saying? That's 67 kids, 67 parents that could be, you know, getting with It's My Money.
That's what I'm talking about.
But that's year round. So all the businesses that sponsor the Holloman Challenge, I do my research, and I find out, okay, now how can I help this person's business? Now, some companies just have allocated funds to give away. That's a different ball game. Like, T-Mobile has a 6-figure budget every quarter. They have to give away for marketing.
Yes.
Other companies, same thing. Like, they have allocated money they have to give away. You just have to be lucky enough to catch them at the right time before they've given it all away and get some of it.
That's right.
But for the what I consider small businesses, and I don't like saying that, because I don't like people call me a small business, because I'm big business. But,
that's what give me high five.
With us small businesses, it's important to try to figure out what their goals are, what can help them, what they're trying to accomplish, and then be an asset. And once I become an asset, there's going to be no question that you're going to help me once a year. So that's how I'm able to return I don't even have to, most of my sponsors, honestly, I'm being honest, I don't even have to ask.
I love it. And that, that goes back, I said earlier, and I like when things continue to surface in this way. Your network contributes to your network worth, and then nurturing your network. And I see that in that realm where, okay, there, somebody's written a check, and now it's like, how do I return? They did that on, that day. For the other 364 days, how do I help them? Because they're automatically going to do that. And that ties back to what I also say to you all, service the clients that you have well, and right. They will be your references. They will be the ones that can get you the other clients, and your marketing becomes a little bit less, from an expense standpoint, because you have other people that you have served that is talking about what you do, and now that person wants you to come do that service to them, if it's a service you have, or even if it's a product or a food item, whatever it is. So I like that ties in that way. So let's talk about this challenge. Like, This challenge, y'all, was amazing. These young men they came out to play. Now, I know there was $5,000 at the end of that, but you know, what I love, because I'm a huge basketball fan. Those of you know, y'all know my daughter played, through up until first year college, and I love that these gentlemen, although again there was that prize there, but they loved the sport. The people that were watching loved the competition that was happening there. So talk a little bit about how the prize that you have there and how you source getting those people in, because they like the game, they want the prize, but you have to be at a certain level within the game to even be in that particular challenge. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a little bigger than I initially expected as far as the participation, but the scary thing for me is the majority, like probably 70 to 80 guys wanted to play that aren't from Jacksonville. And I did have some challenges 2 years ago with a couple guys who were not from here. One dude, his flight got delayed.
Okay.
Another guy had some issues with his car. He was trying to come up from Miami.
Wait, let me pause you. So people travel, and I didn't even know this point, from other areas to be a part of this challenge. This is how big this event is. People come from other areas. I thought all the people that were in the competition were from Jacksonville. Nah. So people traveled to come to this challenge.
Yeah, last year we had a guy flying from Chicago.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, last year we had a guy come up. This year we had a guy come from Tallahassee. One guy was from Tampa. We had 3 guys from Orlando, and one guy from Georgia this year. Wow. And then everybody else was from Jacksonville. But it's
this is worldwide, this podcast, so you may have people come from everywhere next year.
Yeah. It's scary though, because like I said, it's just so much can go wrong with somebody coming from out of town. I try.
What do you mean? In which way?
Just travel.
Oh, you mean logistics wise?
Right.
Okay.
Like, like I said, we had a challenge 2 years ago with a guy whose flight literally got canceled.
And does that so say you have, I don't know, how many players normally you have?
16.
So if you don't have 16, it can't still go on? Is that what the situation is?
The event is sponsored, so it's tough. It raises a lot of challenges because each player is sold to a business. So that's how I make the majority of my money is made, because if you notice, each player had a very specific uniform dedicated to a business.
I did notice
So that's the most expensive part of sponsorship, is for your business to be a player. You have your own player. So once we get a player short size, get his jersey size, and get his uniform created, if he doesn't come, those uniforms take a while to create. Shout out to Neighborhood Royalty, my boy Eric Watts, who makes those uniforms.
Got it.
But it takes a while to make a specific uniform with a business for the event. So
I didn't notice that, but I thought it was just like random, like these players are in it, and then whoever's shirt fit size or whatever. I didn't know that the sponsorship for the person, that's the player. Okay, yeah. So now I want to back into that a little bit, but before we go there, so you've got 16 folks in it. They so the sponsors, they don't have anything to do with who's playing. You do all of that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right,
and then how does a player get chosen? Like, say, Vice or whoever sponsors, do they have a choice in who wears their shirt, or you determine who wears the Vice Star, the T-Mobile, whomever shirt?
I determine it. These people aren't really in touch with the basketball community, so they don't know these people at all. They obviously they meet them at the event and take pictures with them and stuff like that. But and some sponsors have gotten hands on with their player, gotten to know somebody who played with their uniform before the event, stuff like that. Embrace them, give them stuff. Like I know. I had a couple smaller businesses give like a little gift bag to their player, like good luck.
Got it.
Little gift bags and stuff. But for the most part, my brother and I, Jalen Holloman, we try to determine who just put people.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I love that. So now let's bring it home into, okay, you take your area and you zone it out. You break it down, whatever
Right.
that is for you. You make it smaller. Maybe it's a team of folks that are asking. You have a script or somewhat of a script that they know what to say about the event if questions are asked. You get this money in, and then you are able to have this type of event that you have. And the other thing that you had there is people selling items. So you also allowed for people to set up. So is that part of the sponsorship, or that's another way to get money in for the event?
I have a vendor's fee.
Okay.
So it's just another way to get money.
Okay, love that. And then there was food available and things like that.
Right.
Talk about the spacing. So is that an expense line item for you to get the venue where the event is held, or is that a donation that somebody sponsors as well?
No. So like in Jacksonville, the venues that's going to be that's where you're going to spend the most money, because not only do you have to have the venue, you have to have it secured. Most people are going to require JSO.
And JSO is?
Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
Police officers. So they're expensive. Police are very expensive. Very expensive. So they don't work cheap. So, and their prices aren't really negotiable.
Okay.
And then you got to have insurance.
Okay.
So, the venue is going to ask for your insurance. So you're going to have to get it. You're going to have show proof that it's secured. Mm-hmm. Like I said, 80% of the gyms it's gonna have to be the police. Some gyms don't care; they just want security. Period. So you can go get like a mall cop, and that's really, really cheap.
Okay.
But I prefer JSO because I have so much money in the building.
Okay.
So I prefer JSO because I have $5,000 cash in my hand.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money exchanging in the building. We got a concession stand that's rocking.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You got people selling stuff. So I want it secured. But yeah, it's not about. This event isn't about me giving away $5,000. Like,
well, I don't know if some people may not feel that way. No. I know, not for you. I'm talking about people that are.
What I meant by that is, it's not about the $5,000 is the least of my worries. Like we double that in what we got to spend to put this on.
Yeah,
and that's why sponsorships are so important, because I couldn't afford to put on this event without sponsors. Yeah. So people think like, oh, all you gotta do is raise $5,000. No.
Well, those people must not be in business, because the venue. I mean, you got, like you said, you named all the things. You have people in the building. You gotta have insurance. Like, what if one of those players get hurt? Like all of that stuff.
Everything.
So that should be a given, that there's other costs associated.
A lot of costs.
So now let's go to, you interjected something into the challenge. During it, you called some women out and you talked about that. Talk about what that is for those that are listening, and then what you did for those women that you called out.
Oh yeah, so my mom beat breast cancer. My mom beat cancer in March.
Shout out to all the survivors. My mom is also a survivor, as is my best friend and my other friend. So yes.
Right. Definitely shout out to them for sure. The superheroes.
True survivor. Exactly. The true heroes. Yes.
But yeah, so initially, like I said earlier, I'm 100% basketball guy. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't really have any other interests or hobbies or nothing. Like, I don't play video games. I'm just basketball. So when I put this together, it was all about basketball. But I did notice that a lot of people I talked to would ask, like, is there a purpose behind what you're doing? Are you raising money for anything? I'd always be like, nah, like, but it happened a lot. Like, a lot of, like, the bigger businesses were like, what does this benefit outside of you giving some guy $5,000? So, I was like, whatever. Like, we don't need them. Like, if they don't want to be a part of it, don't. Like, we cool.
But even outside of that, it's keeping young men that, one, they have to, I'm sure, prepare to come in there. Right. It's a night out that's, uneventful, other than the challenge that's happening on, in a safe environment. Everybody's having a good time. You had a DJ, all of that. So all of that is a good thing. Anytime you have young people to the numbers, there was a lot of people there, y'all, that are there, that and there was raining, and it still was a lot of people there, and raining hard
It was
too.
bad. It
Yeah,
wasn't
wasn't regular rain, but
No.
people still came out, and that talks to what they've experienced in the past, or the players that were there.
Right.
But yeah, so anyway, I'm sorry, I digress, because I want part of the sponsor. I know you're going to talk about what you added in, but I see that as also something that I would want to take part in, because seeing a youth have something to look forward to, even though there's the money at the end, but it was the competition. Like I see a stepdad taking a video of his child that was in his stepchild that was in there. That video is something he can use for when he wants to, go out and get scholarships or whatever have you. So it's bigger. That is also a big thing too that comes from this event that you do. But go ahead with what you added in.
Yeah, so my mindset was, hey, we're going to keep it moving. Like, I'm not going to lie to people or try to be something I'm not. We're not, I don't know. What do y'all want me to do? So, long story short, when my mom texted me that, I was like, because that was just when I was starting to, because I start February, March.
Okay.
So I can have
soliciting for getting money.
Right, yeah. Right. So right when I was about to start, I was like, my mom, so I know the expenses behind that. You got to change your diet. Yeah. Medicine costs a lot, stuff like that. A lot of things you have to do to stay healthy.
Yes. Transportation to visits.
Right. A lot of things. So I was like, well, hey, we could put this in the challenge. So that literally gave me a purpose. So shout out to Global Elite Transportation. My girl Tahas was able to work with me and come out and give $900. So we were able to give 3 survivors $300 in cash.
Yes. Yeah, and they were all there at the challenge, you all. They were all there, and of different ages. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Even of different ages.
Right.
That was amazing. They all came out to the middle of the floor, and he talked about what he just shared, and then each gave them an envelope with what he just mentioned. So it's like a double duty to me, a double mission, if you will, that you do with this challenge. So as we begin to wrap up the show, if somebody is out there that have a vision similar to yours, they have a project, whatever that may be, that may not be basketball, what do you want to share with them about when they are trying to get funds to make it happen? Because most people that are doing it, it's not what they do every day, all day. They're a little bit shy, if you will, or a little bit apprehensive of going after money. And then when they do finally get up the courage to go, they got that door slapped in their face 2, 3, 4, 10 times. Right. What do you say to that person that is considering this? What do you want to say to that person about they can do it too? Right.
I would say find a way, any way possible, to make eye contact with people and shake their hand. I was, telling you when we met, like, to me, emails they're an illusion, because as business owners, like as owner of WillPower Athletics, I just told y'all how many leagues I have and how many programs I have running at one time. Like, I have probably right now, I probably got 90 emails that I probably won't ever respond to, or it's going to take a long time for me to respond to. And I'm just a little fish. So if you can imagine somebody a big fish, how many emails they get on a regular basis. I never wanted to go that route because of that. I always wanted to be able to shake somebody's hand, look them in the eye, and hand them something that they can look at. And even when you get to meet people, when you go in businesses, a lot of times you may get a no, but you'll get why. So that means they could turn you down that year. Well, we only sponsor events that boom, 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 boom. So you write that down real quick in the parking lot, and like next year you're like, okay, so now I know what y'all sponsor. So now I can come at this angle next year. Yeah. So even a no is not really a bad thing, because a lot of times people will tell you what they do get behind. Yeah. And then you can format your situation to fit that. So my advice would be, like I said, like a lot of people in business think everything is digital, like social media and emailing, and that's the exact opposite of my approach. It's more so, I need to meet people in person and try to be able to actually make eye contact with them and stuff like that.
Yes, I love that. And the other thing I'll add is to what you just said is they may tell you what they get behind, but they also may say, I would have if you had come in January, or if you told me in December. Right. So you'll learn their giving cycle. if you will. So it may be something that they would be behind, but they've already given out for what they're going to do for that given year or whatever have you, or that because everybody's financial cycle, you all, is not January to December. Some people are on different fiscal cycles, so you'll begin to learn that the more you interact. So that no may not be a no, it may just be a no right now.
Bad
and then
timing.
you'll have the information for going forward. So if you were interested in getting money for whatever it is that you are doing, in addition to, I'm not going to say don't do those things, because that may be the route you like, but know there's another way that you can still get money. And my friend Will Holloman just shared with you what he did and what he's been doing for several years for what is known as the Holloman Challenge here in Jacksonville, Florida, that is. So know that you can do it too. Will is saying it's something different about him. He just took a different approach, and that approach is working for him. So I wanted to make sure when I heard that, I'm like, I need you on the show, because I know those of you that are in the It's My Money community, you are looking for ways, in different ways, that you could do things like Will has mentioned, and you can integrate that into what you're doing. So hopefully you walked away with, I have another opportunity, or I have another way, another strategy that I can integrate into my fundraising activities. So with that being said, Will, tell them what you have going on, or about the challenge. If people are interested and they're not in Jacksonville, how can they also participate? Because you can start, I know you don't go out until March, but you can start getting funds for next year right now. And so that when you create the marketing, you already have that in. So how can people participate? How can they find you? Tell them where they can find Will Holloman.
WillPowerJacks.com has everything that I encompass. All my leagues, all my camps, all my clinics, all my trainings, all my donations. Just go to WillPowerJacks.com and everything you need to know will be there.
All right. And you all know how I do. That's going to be dropped down in the show notes as well. And before I go, I have to ask, if you are not subscribed to this, know that we bring practical information to help you with your personal and business finances. And this is what this episode is about, because that can help you with the finances that you have. So if you're not subscribed, stop right now and go and hit that red subscribe button to make sure that you get every episode that comes about. And if you want to know more about the Holloman Challenge, make sure you hit the link that's going to be below. And if you want to know more information about personal finances and grants for small business owners, make sure that you're following me as well. Subscribe here, or go to itsmymoney.com on any platform that you are on online. I appreciate you for always keeping it locked here with Patrina Dixon. And you know I'm known as the It's My Money Lady. And if this episode you think can benefit somebody else, make sure you also share. And then if you enjoyed, just give us a thumbs up or leave a comment so Will and I know that this was an episode that you enjoyed hearing information about getting money for your next upcoming event. Thank you so much, and make it a great day.